Bottom 9 in Kansas City. Kauffman Stadium. Reds lead by hopefully wide enough of a margin for what I suspect Ian Jabot to try to finish. Some big insurance runs, Nick. You'd like to think they're going to matter. I guess in a perfect situation, they won't matter at all.
Well, I mean, you didn't get to use Pagan. So,
yeah, it matters
somewhat.
Matters somewhat, correct. I guess that's one way to put it. But if Jabot goes out and throws a scoreless frame, I'd like to think the Reds would have won 3-2.
Yeah. Well, nice to score late against bullpens. They haven't done a lot of that this year.
No, it's been
maybe
fantastic.
That's
fantastic.
That's been few and far between.
They've got some big hits too. I mean, just some really, really big at bats. Obviously, want to save some of this for the show, but just putting the ball in play when you need to put the ball in play, you've got to find a way to do it, and they've done it. And they. As you have on the rundown, might have been a little fortuitous at times, that I'm sure we'll talk about. Espinal gets a big double late there to kind of seal the deal, where he'll be back in that spot again tomorrow.
We are back on Twitter, so I don't know what the hell happened yesterday, but we're back.
It was bad luck yesterday. I don't know.
Yeah. Makes my life a lot easier.
Yeah, I mean, I changed nothing. Nothing has changed. So, technology, I guess. What I got going on here? All right. Throw strikes, Nick, really. That's the name of the game right now, throwing strikes. Don't want to say that's all you have to do, but kind of do.
There's 2.
You got 2. Well, I got 1. So I suspect we either get a punch out or we get some ground ball to Matt McClain. All right, we'll take it. 2 of them. 9 pitches, 2 outs. Isn't it funny how baseball is so weird in the sense that we all know that if this was a 3-2 game, it would not be this simple. It would just not be. Psychology and sports. Just a really dumb experiment to try to figure out. Flat Rock 79. What'd I tell you, Flat Rock? I tried to warn you. And I called you on your bluff.
Is he the canceling FanDuel?
May we give flowers to Friedl or I no mo FanDuel. I think Flat Rock was telling me that he was going to cancel FanDuel. I'm pretty sure I remember that. Now, here's the thing. I will say, Flat Rock, you have an out. You can kind of always act like you were talking about the gambling app, or you can talk about the fact that that's the network that the Reds play on.
Or he could be bootlegging it tonight. And you know what? Said
you wouldn't know nothing about bootlegging.
I would not.
No. You are a model citizen. You pay for every single piece of content. You would never consider not only watching stolen content, but you would never also even consider stealing content yourself. What we call you is very much a by-the-book guy when it comes to the content game, Nick Kirby.
Yeah. I mean, in fairness, I do actually spend $18 billion a month on sporting things, but it's more for convenience than necessarily
right. You do the fan graphs, the ballpark pals. You do all of those. You support the analytical community.
I also have Hulu. Although I get it. I don't pay for MLB because shout out to T-Mobile.
Right. We're just giving every free ad there is today. We're giving them all out.
Well, you give me an entire season full of I think it's worthy of a free ad. I'm not going to lie.
Fair enough. All right. Flat Rack 79.
It is your company, so.
Well, I mean, free ads are free ads. They are what they are. We don't no free ads. We don't do free ads, of course, as we always say. Flat Rock 79 says he's been fairly consistent this entire, and then I guess he didn't want to put year in the last super chat, so he put year in the next super chat. Flat Rock, thank you for your support, and thank you to Ian Jabot for making this nice, quick, and painless. Exactly what they tell you when you're about 4 years old trying to get your first shot. We'll see you back here in just a few minutes.
He's gone! Oh my God! Can you believe it? Johnny Bench has tied it up. The Cincinnati Reds win the World Series in 4 straight. It was a sweep.
In the dirt, it's a wild pitch. Here comes Walker. The Reds win the pennant.
Larkins won the game.
That ball is fair. Cincinnati's ahead. 2 games to none.
Welcome Joe Orlando to Cincinnati. Adam Dunn has done it again.
Benzinger backing and calling. And the 1990 World Championship belongs to the Cincinnati Reds.
Marty, yes. This is Adam from Milwaukee. Hey, Adam, how you doing? I'm good. How are you? Good. Do you think Scott Chatterbox is a good player?
Dunn up there with the bases loaded, the outfield deep and around toward right, and the 1-0 on the way to the plate. Swung on, long drive, right field, and this one belongs to the Reds.
And a high drive. Hit back into deep right field. Junior has just knocked the door down to the 500 club.
Benson's first home run is a walk-off winner. That ball had a family.
And De La Cruz is, oh my goodness, look at this kid run. My, oh my, that is a triple.
Matt McClain's first big league bomb.
Spencer Steer's first big league hit is a home run to straightaway center field. Joey Votto's done it again.
The pitch. Votto swings high in the air. Right field. Yes! He pointed to the dugout to say, I told you. That is Joey Votto's 315th career go-ahead ribby. Only Johnny Bench had more as a Red.
And I can't tell you how much it means to play in front of everyone here in Cincinnati as a Red. What a gift. What a tremendous gift. So thank you. Thank you.
I think I can speak for all of Reds country. Joey Votto, thank you.
High drive. Left center field. Racing back to the wall. Bourgeois. The Reds are National League Central Division champions. In the air, left center field. Did he? He did! He did! Reds win! Win! Line into right field. Genius, the first Red ever with 4 home runs in a game. Can you believe it? In the air, down the right field line. Does it have a chance? The Reds have won on a 3-run home run on opening day by Ramon Hernandez. A strike away and out away is Homer Bailey. Ground ball to third. Frazier gloves. Throw to first and Homer Bailey for the second time in his major league career has tossed the no-hitter. Oh, gosh. Are you kidding me? Holy Moses, the second player in major league history to hit 7 home runs in the first 10 games. In the air, and the Reds win it. What a
right, welcome into another winning edition of Chatterbox Reds. Believe it or not, that's multiple in a row. Some would say that's a winning streak. Nick, a couple games where, to be honest, smooth sailing for the most part, and kind of an enjoyable offense to watch. I don't want to jinx it. Don't want to act like I'm all the way back. Don't want to sit here and act like this offense is completely fine and everything's fixed. But I must say, we have been saying, and you very much have been saying, that there are players on this team that are capable of getting hot. And when they do get hot, this will all look a little bit different. And it sure has seemed that way for this past week. Reds win 7-2. I don't know how many games in a row, Nick. I'm sure you'll know off the top of your head how many games in a row we've scored 6 or more. It feels like quite a considerable amount. We got 5. And I got to tell you, I would have laid some pretty long odds on that if you'd have told me the Reds were going to score 6 or more runs in more than 4 games at any point in this season. And it feels good. Feels good to be a Reds fan. And boy, does it seem like it's just kind of you take crazy pills watching this club, don't you?
Yeah, they've capitalized. I think the last 5 games haven't been against great pitchers, but you've taken care of business. I don't think people gave Pittsburgh's pitching enough credit. I mean, they did face some pretty good pitchers in Pittsburgh, but to turn around and play 5 good games in a row consecutively is certainly a nice development. And I don't know what to think of this offense, because the numbers do not match the vibes with this team's rankings. Because like I do series previews, and every time I do them, I'm like, this offense isn't that bad. Like, I put them up next to the Royals. I'm like, this offense is significantly better than the Kansas City Royals, who hold a playoff spot. So I don't know. Time will tell. We'll probably get a clearer picture, obviously, when we get later in the season as to where this offense is. But right now, it at least feels like it's not a complete liability.
I think it's 2 things, Nick. I was thinking that myself today when there was obviously in our Discord, there were some people suggesting that our offense was significantly better than what people might suggest it to be. Shout out to Mike Hart. And I was thinking, why is that? Well, I think largely because we had a string of games, Nick, where you had excellent pitching, where you score 0 runs 3 times in a row, and you only give up 1 run a couple times in a row, and you feel disgusted by that. And that's happened a good amount of times this year. You add in the fact that they scored a considerable amount a couple times, and that just kind of skews the overall outlook on what some people might perceive to be a good offense and what some might think is not as bad as some would say. The second point I was going to make with this whole thing was largely the idea that Major League Baseball as a whole probably isn't as good offensively as what many fans think. And I think that's probably more evident than anything, is that if you go around Major League Baseball and you just say, okay, is this guy a good hitter or not? You look at his stats, especially if you take in the traditional stats, there's going to be a considerable amount of people that would say, no, they're not very good hitters. And their WRC plus is going to be probably about average, if not a little bit above average for many guys. So you take those 2 into consideration, Nick, and I think that's why the vibe is nowhere near what you think it should be.
Oh, yeah. No, that's 100% true. It's a great point about baseball as a whole, because I think that, and I'm not like trying to be critical of people when I say this, because it's easy for me to feel the same way. I probably only see this a little more because I'm so invested in these stupid numbers and stats every day that I see it a little bit more. But yeah, offense is not what it used to be. It is harder than ever to hit for average in Major League Baseball. And so, yeah, but look, they have the 24-run game, but if you take away the Reds' 4 best performances and their 4 worst performances, I'll do this maybe tomorrow when I have a little bit more time. But the Reds still have a positive run differential. So, I don't know. We'll see. But they're 500. So, I guess they've kind of somehow found their way back to this point, and not exactly sure how.
Neither am I. Obviously, we'll get to some of that and more of how they got to be 500 because they played a baseball game in Kansas City and they found a way to win, and it came off the backs of a couple big-time swings. And we'll discuss that and more in just a minute. But before we do that, we're going to do the box score recap presented by Nick Kirby. As always, probably a full rundown. So here it goes.
Not tonight. Not tonight. You're getting the condensed version. Had a doubleheader tonight. Had a soccer practice at 5, had a t-ball game at 6, and here we are. So, top of the second, Tyler Stephenson homered, his third home run of the young season to put the Reds up 1-0. Top of the fourth, Elly Cruz homered to tie the game up at 2. We go to sorry, I had the wrong one selected. We go to the top of the sixth, still tied at 2. Elly Cruz homered again, his 11th of the season. Put the Reds up 3-2. The game remained 3-2 going into the 8th. Santiago Espinal singled to make it 4-2. Then the Reds poured it on. Steer walked with the bases loaded to make it 5-2. McLean RBI ground out off the bench to make it 6-2. And then an Espinal double in the 9th made it 7-2. Brady Singer shaky early, but somehow found a way to get through 7 innings of 2-run ball. Tony Santillan a scoreless 8th. Ian Jabot a scoreless 9th. If you want a nice little pretty version, well, we have a podcast for you every morning.
That's right. Download it, listen to it. Tell Alexa to play it when you walk out the door. We don't care how you do it. Just figure out a way to download that podcast. We appreciate you. DSC, though, they have a thing they call the Deep Drive of the Day. And sometimes we make up cheap ones. Sometimes they're lineouts. Sometimes they're, sacrifice fly from time to time. Sometimes we go down to the ACL League and we talk about guys that nobody's ever heard of before because we don't have a deep drive of the day. But not today. Not this day. Elly Cruz homered. You might be asking which one. Well, we're going to use the second one because it was 112 miles an hour. It was a fly ball to right field. That's his 11th home run of the year. 451 feet. Landed right in the fountains out there at Kauffman Stadium. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, do a little Google search. It's pretty far away from home plate. The Reds would then take the lead 3-2, and as we all know, that would jump their winning probability up to 66%. But let it be known that it was ultimately 100%. DSC is a leader in renewable commodities for biofuel production, specializing in used cooking oil collection, aggregation, and sales. Visit www.deepsouthcommodities.com for more information. Nick, I know you kind of cut this up in the podcast. I am fighting the ultimate fight right now. I took a drink of what we call some cream soda. And have you ever taken a drink of soda and it just doesn't go down right and you're just waiting ultimately for this just to exit the system? I mean, when I tell you folks that there's a good chance that I'm going to have to mute myself at any point in the next couple minutes, it's for one reason and one reason only, and many of you probably know. I have no focus other than getting this out of my system. I feel like I have nothing but a big air pocket sitting there. So anyways.
I am stunned that you of the two of us are the first one for this to happen to, because I tell you, I have been trending that way maybe 15 times on various episodes of this show, and somehow I've been able to survive. But it's
not a good feeling.
Bound to happen. It's bound to happen to me at some point. I've had that feeling when I've put on these headphones and thinking at some point I'm going to be exiting the show for a few minutes. So
yeah,
I feel you, brother. I feel you.
So here we go. Elly Cruz. Before we get to that, let me get to the super chats, because I'll help you out in a time like this. That way, when you go to cut this thing, and make it nice and easy. But we got some supers that we need to get to really quickly, folks. Jacob Doyle chimes in and says, 14 innings from Martinez plus Singer is just what we needed. That's a good super chat. What maybe is not the best super chat is that Flat Rock sent 5 different super chats in. One of them says FanDuel is so much better than something that I'm not going to say on these airwaves, Bally. Shout out to Flat Rock. Thank you. Bryce says, I guess Ellie's good again. Laugh out loud. ATOBTTR. Ned Flanders says, Reds pitching, 1 walk. 1 walk.
Hell
Brady
yeah, Ned.
Singer.
Hell yeah.
Ned coming in again with just pure facts. Quality start, just saying. Man. RD711 says, and this one belongs to who? It belongs to the Reds. That's who it belongs to. Anquilla the Great says, let me know if you heard this before. Reds batting better in a ballpark polar opposite of ours. When they go back to Cincy, it'll be 0-1. Yeah. Yeah, it feels that way, doesn't it? What a stupid thing, too. I mean, because they hit some balls far enough to go out of, obviously, any park tonight. I don't know. Chris Ackerman says, the people were saying that Elly had lost the power. He must have found it. Dunny17 then chimes in and says, the Reds haven't lost on my birthday since 2018. Dunny, you need to figure out a way to make more birthdays if you can. That'd be great.
Happy
All
birthday.
right. Happy birthday, Dunny. Thank you. All right, here we go. Yeah, listen, Elly is going to be a lightning rod in the city for various reasons. I can go as so low and say one of the reasons is a pretty dumb reason, but it's going to be a reason nonetheless, and that's because he wears chains, he wears long sleeve bright shirts, he wears 2 sliding mitts. That's one reason as to why some people don't like him. That's your reason why you don't like him? I don't know. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. I prefer that they just play good baseball.
I'll tell you, you suck. I'll say it.
All right, Nick's gonna say you suck. I'm not gonna say you suck because I'm not saying anyone sucks. Everyone's great, kind of. That's one reason. The other reason is because he will make errors from time to time at shortstop that perhaps you'd like to have a veteran shortstop would make those routine plays, but you fail to then remember that he makes some unbelievable plays that not only do they outdo the plays that he doesn't make, but they're so far and above, good that he's one of the better shortstops in the league. But that might be another reason. Another reason might be that he strikes out a lot, Nick. He does strike out a lot. All right, he strikes out a lot. He strikes out significantly more than what the traditional baseball players in the past have done. I think I had seen a stat the other day that was kind of going around socials and in some group chats that he is on his way before the end of the season that he will strike out more times than Tony Gwynn did in his entire career. That might be true because baseball's changed. And Elly at this point now has an opportunity to do what we need him to do, Nick. I hope he gets hot. He continues to play well. He finds some more power. And oddly enough, I think you had mentioned this, his power already, if you extrapolate it out, it's a pretty damn good season. I mean, I don't know what people expect him to be or do, but he's kind of sneaky good. You know how you know when a player is really good, Nick? You know how I do these cross-sport analogies. I'm going to give you one right here. You know when a guy scores 40 points in a basketball game and everybody leaves and they're like, he just didn't really have a great game though, Like he just kind of, I don't know. I mean, I guess he scored 40, but it just wasn't very pretty. It doesn't look good. I guess that's kind of Elly's season in a little bit of a way right now for many people. Your thoughts on that? And I'm sure more with Elly De La Cruz, your golden child.
Yeah, yep. My golden child. I continue to hitch my wagon to Elly De La Cruz because I'm just such a bold person, man. I tell you what, I'm like, I think this guy might be good. I'm gonna have this really bold take. So I mean, shout out to me for being bold and having hope and faith in Elly De La Cruz. Woo! So let's start with the strikeouts. They're getting better. First season 34%, second season 31%. Currently at 28.7%. This is Elly De La Cruz's third season, second full season in the big leagues. Shohei Ohtani in his fourth season in the big leagues, played 158 games this year, so it's not a short season. Struck out in 29.6% of his plate appearances. So using his strikeouts against him is asinine. Like, you got to get it out of your system. This is baseball today. The game is not what it used to be. He's going to strike out. That's part of why he's so good. That's part of why he can hit a ball 570,000 feet, because he strikes out, because he does swing and miss. I don't know. I don't really have a lot to say about Elly De La Cruz. It's just like, you're right, though. He has not played his best baseball, and he's on pace for 32 home runs. So I've said before, I think June is the month that I think he's going to have his best month of the season. And if that's the case, I think by the end of June, I think Elly De La Cruz will be pushing for an all-star bid.
I think Elly in general will probably push for all-star bids more times than not, just based off who he is. I mean, he is a star. You could say whatever you want about his stats or his numbers, and you don't think that they add up to being a star. Okay, well, he's already on, and I'm not saying that this is a reason that you could say he's a good player or not a good player, but I'm just openly saying when it comes to being an all-star, there's going to be kind of a fan push there for Elly De La Cruz. He's already on the cover of MLB The Show. Kids love Elly De La Cruz. It's without question the biggest star this franchise has had in a long time. I don't want to degrade any other players that the Reds have had because I feel like if I start saying he's a bigger star than this player, people will take offense to that. And I don't want it to be taken offensively. I'm just saying in general, when you look at it from a national landscape and you look at it from a kid's perspective, and I think that's kind of where superstardom in my mind starts, is like, what's your influence on 20 and under kids that are interested in baseball? Because more times than not, once you get to a certain age, you don't really, I'm not saying you don't like players, but you don't like idolize players maybe the way that you would have when you're a kid. Elly is by far and away the biggest star that this franchise has had in a long time. So we'll leave it at that. In regards to his play, you know, I guess I'll even say that, like, I know you had ultimate confidence in him, but I would leave it open on my front of saying I can't guarantee that he's going to do these things because he's not done it long enough for me to feel great about it. But I would be willing to kind of put one foot in the side that it's going to happen. So, but the fact that there's no guarantees that he was going to do this, and maybe you could even argue that he's still not done it yet, he's getting pretty damn close to being kind of the guy that we all hope he would be. The biggest thing that I think that he should be most wildly appreciated for, Nick, and I would say no one ever talks about it, but it goes under the radar far too often, is that this dude is out there every day. I mean,
yeah,
this franchise in and of itself has had so many issues with guys not being able to be there on a day-to-day basis that you would think that would be like a huge asset or something that a lot of people appreciate about him. This core that we talk about all the time, this young group, none of them have been able to stay healthy. Outside of maybe Spencer Steer, you could convince me, but he wasn't healthy to begin this year, and they kind of forced him out there, and unfortunately for him, he didn't play very well. But point being, Elly should get some credit for that, which I think it's deserved. I mean, some might say, well, he's supposed to play every day. Well, that's not the case for many guys. So it seems to be a pretty good asset that he brings to the table with availability.
I think the only, it's not really a concern because, again, I don't think Elly's floor is very low. Like, I think his floor is a fringe all-star. I think that's his floor, in my opinion. People might differ. That's fine.
Right.
The only thing that's going to keep him from being, I guess, one of the top 5 or 10 players in the sport is going to be, can he improve his ability to hit left-handed pitching? Because he hasn't played great this year, and he's hitting right-handed pitching still at a very well above average mark. So that's the one thing that just hasn't really improved. It felt like it did improve last year, because 2023 he was really, really bad against lefties. Last year he was more in that serviceable range, 661 OPS, and that's kind of where I'm like, okay, if he can just do that, where he's serviceable, he's going to crush right-handed pitching so much that's a fine number. Well, this year it's well below that. It's in the mid 500s. Now, it's only 76 plate appearances entering today, so it's still a pretty small sample. But that's the one thing that's going to take him from right now. He's probably a top, I don't know, hitter, top position player, top 20, top 25. If he continues to hit lefties at the level he's at, that's probably about where he stays. If he kind of is able to get that OPS against lefties back up into the mid to high 600s, then I think he's a top 10 player.
I think there's something to be considered at some point. I don't think it's this season, but I would suggest that you could even start kind of dabbling in it, if you'd like to use that term, at the start of next spring training, if his numbers against left-handed pitching are still not nearly as good as they need to be, I'd be interested to see what he does lefty on lefty. I know that that's not something that probably needs to be pushed yet, but I would entertain the idea of it, Nick. You only got to worry about one side of the plate. You only got to worry about one swing. You can, at some point, just get comfortable. You don't have to work on two different things in the hitting cages. And Lance Berkman's a guy that I respected when I was a kid, and I thought he was one of the best hitters that I had seen, period. And it was interesting when I kind of was done playing, and I think he was retired at the time. Someone interviewed him and asked him if there was anything that he would change in his major league career. And he said he would give up switch hitting. He said that he felt like he just spent an incredible amount of time trying to hit as a right-hander when he didn't get the opportunity to hit right-handed all that often, and he felt like he would have just worked on his craft from the left-handed side. Now, to be very clear, I'm not saying that's what Elly needs to do, but it's just if there's a debate to be had with Elly, like what should we do with him, blah blah blah. I think there's a conversation at some point about him just sticking with the left-handed swing and seeing what that does and what it yields. So, future discussion. Just a nugget of thought there, and let's get back to this baseball game. We have good fortune on there, Nick. I kind of wanted to speak on this. Many times you don't discuss it when you win. You only bring it up when you lose. But the Reds had some good fortune tonight. I thought that they had some at-bats that, realistically speaking, probably didn't deserve a base hit, and they were just seeing eye singles, and it led to some runs. Matt McClain, give Tito some credit here tonight, Nick. He did decide to pinch hit for Lux. He brought McClain in. McClain's still not seeing the ball well, Nick. He's just not seeing it well. He's swinging at some pitches from time to time that I'm just like, this is not the Matt McClain that I remember. But fortunately for him, Nick, he put the ball in play. Royals almost turned an incredible double play, but thankfully Matt's running down the line pretty hard. He gets a run in. It felt like a little bit of a momentum shift, in my opinion, Nick, that you kind of get that run in. You extend the lead, and from there, the wheels fell off. Espinal hits a little squibbler down the line. Again, not a hard hit ball. I'm not trying to be rude. I'm just saying that ball was hit off the end of the bat or fisted over there to first base. To be fair, he put the ball in play, though. I'm not trying to downplay Espinal. They throw the ball away. Espinal hits a ground ball that goes right over the bag, a double. It was a good night.
Santiago Espinal had 4 at-bats tonight. His expected batting average was .60, .90, .60, and .90. 2 for 4 with a single and a double, baby.
Yeah. And I'm not – here's the thing, Nick. Like, hopefully people don't take that the wrong way from your perspective. Like, you're not saying that all these are horrific hits. It's just you got a little fortune. That's all. I mean, he put the ball in play. Give him credit, Nick. I'll give him credit.
Yeah, no, I don't have an issue. The funny thing is after Espinal grounded in that double play, everyone was up in arms about Espinal batting second, and I was actually like, I don't really have an issue with the batting second tonight because they were facing a lefty. I honestly probably would have batted him leadoff. So tonight was not really a night that I think there was anything wrong with the way he was used, but it was kind of funny how it's more of the long-term problem and issue of him batting second most nights that just kind of reared its head in that one spot. But it's funny that we're not talking about that at bat tonight, because when that happened, I thought, oh, that's the whole show. And the game goes a different way. And well, that's just a small little footnote of this show tonight.
No, it was a big moment. I don't want to downplay it. I thought that was kind of a moment to where you say, you know what? As much as you want to keep harping on this same subject, it comes back and it bites you right on the tail. And I got to tell you, I don't know what you do in that spot. I guess you could try to pinch hit, but the issue is like if you have 3 catchers, right? You DH one of them. You don't have many options to be pinch hitting in the 6th inning or whatever inning that was. I give me some grace here. I don't have it up, but
fifth inning.
5th inning. You don't have. I'm just saying you don't have a lot of options pinch hitting in the 5th inning. So you're kind of stuck. So even if you wanted to pinch hit, it's a tough spot to pinch hit, and unfortunately,
and it's a tie game, and you need the defense too. No, I have no issue with it. It was brutal to watch.
Yes.
And it was like the more just piling on of this thing that has just been so annoying all year, but I didn't have an issue with it either. But hey, that double in the 9th inning was Santiago Espinal's first extra base hit against a right-handed pitcher this season.
It was a well placed ball, and you know what's funny is TJ Friedl's hit was just as bad. And by bad I mean it was just as seeing eye single as that one. So the Reds had good fortune. I wanted to bring it up. I thought it was fair to bring up on nights where you say, hey, we hit the ball hard 14 times tonight. We rounded up 2 runs. Well, as they say in baseball, it all evens out. I don't believe that, by the way. I don't believe that at all. But they do say that. It all evens out. You hit one hard, you'll get you're due for a bloop single at some point. I've always said I think if you're a really good hitter, it doesn't even out because typically you're probably going to hit the ball hard more times than not. You're going to get out that way more times than not. And if you're not a very good hitter, you're probably going to luckily run into some, seeing eye singles or some bloop singles. So, but hey, I guess tonight we can say it evened out. Reds win 7-2. All right, as always, as a reminder, 24/7 anonymous hotline. It's okay to not be okay. You can text and or call 988 day or night. And you can also visit mantherapy.org if you're ever in a situation where you feel like you're in need of some help. And you also keep a close eye on your friends or your loved ones. There's many people that keep these things very, very tightly guarded, and just tell people that you love them more than anything. That's what I suggest. Just tell people that you love them, that you care about them, and that if they ever need anything at all, if they ever need anything at all, you're willing to help. So as a reminder, you can text and or call 988 day or night. It's okay to not be okay. Okay, Nick, we got some more super chats we need to get to, and they are coming in like hotcakes tonight. All right, back on the saddle. Jim Lafferty with a big bomb says, well, I guess I'm back on the wagon. Jim, it's a tough one, man. You can't shake this wagon. Broken ankle jumping off the wagon over the weekend. For my own health, this emotional roller coaster ride has to stop. I honestly don't know how to define this team. Neither do we. I don't know either, Jim. I really don't. There are times when I watch this team, and I quite honestly think this team deserved to have an over-under of 77 wins. This team has no chance of sniffing 77 wins. And then there are stretches of baseball where I think to myself, why in the hell can't we find a way just to play on somewhat of a consistent basis like this for a month and a half? Because if we do that, we will be 10 to 12 games over 500 by the end of that stretch. The issue is that we are not consistent. That's the only thing that we are consistent is being inconsistent. See if we can't say consistent a few more times in the same sentence to confuse everybody. Rolf coming in with a super chat and says 887 feet of Elly meat long balls. There's a lot of feet. A lot of feet, Rolf. Flat Rock says Elly's Q rating is off the charts. Well, yeah, I don't know what to tell you. It's just a good player. I mean, he's a good player. There's really no other way to say it. Nick, I'm going to turn it over to you, man. This is your guy. I mean, I got to tell you, as soon as I was thinking to myself, man, are we giving Tyler Stephenson too much credit on this show, or is Nick just trying to make this seem like this guy's better than maybe he really is? Here goes Tyler Stephenson. And you know what? This guy's kind of a punch and Judy hitter a little bit sometimes. I'm being honest. There are times where you watch him hit and you're like, damn, dude, where's the power at? Like, where's the pop? Let's see a guy get into a baseball one time. I'm tired of these balls that he hits out to left center field and hits off the wall. And I love a double. Don't get me wrong, Nick. But I'm like, where is the ball that's just flying out of the ballpark? And here he comes. He waits to go into the biggest, the baddest, the boldest stadium there is, and he's just flying them out. Tyler Stephenson, Nick, take it away.
Well, it's nice when it works out that way. I actually, after the show last night, did a little more research on Tyler Stephenson, and No free ads, but had a little segment on Tyler Stephenson earlier today on the Reds pregame show. I don't think we talk about Tyler Stephenson enough as a power hitter. He's really he's trending that way. So Stephenson's first full big league season in 2021, he hit 10 homers. 2022, he was hurt, only played 50 games. But then in 2023, hit 13 homers. Last year, hit 19 homers. This year, already 3 home runs in, 21 games, something like that? I don't know. Is Tyler Stephenson a legitimate 20 home run, 25 home run hitter? I don't. You watch the last 2 days of it, 2 home runs in that ballpark. I don't think you have to squint too hard. So maybe Tyler Stephenson is a pretty decent piece of the puzzle of the Reds' power that we've been missing. And I don't think I maybe gave him enough credit for being an actual legitimate solution to that.
I didn't. I didn't. And I think there are times where I don't give Tyler Stephenson enough credit, obviously. And can I also say, like, as much as we give credit, I just think that there's narratives that guys pick up sometimes, and it's really hard to shake, right? Like, I just think that you kind of get pegged as this type of guy, and no matter what you do for a long period of time, you're just like, oh, that's kind of fluky. That's not going to keep happening, et cetera, et cetera. Stevenson's power is probably like that. And can I say Trevino's defense is kind of like that for me right now? I got to be honest with you. This guy's going to have to start throwing some guys out for me, Nick. It feels, and I don't know whose fault it is. I got to be honest with you. I don't have a pitch clock. I don't have the timer. I don't know if these guys are stealing on the pitcher. Brady Singer's taking forever to get to the plate tonight. I don't know. But, like, it seems like Trevino has a hard time throwing guys out. And maybe my brain is not adding up to the stats. Again, to be very clear, this is just me watching the game. When I watch it, I don't have stats to back that up. But I was thinking tonight, is Tyler Stephenson that far behind Trevino when it comes to defensive abilities?
Not throwing guys out. Trevino's not good, hasn't been good at that. We knew that coming in. He was bad at that last year. Trevino's value all is his catch framing and I think that the intangible is clearly there with his ability to lead a pitching staff. It's hard to quantify that, but I believe it's there. I think that there's a reputation there, and I don't know how much credit Trevino gets for the Reds pitching.
Yeah,
but I do think he gets I do think he gets some of it, a piece. I don't know how big that pie is, but I do think he deserves some credit for that. And I think that's part of the reason the Reds extended him. So yeah, that's not his strength. He does not throw guys out. The Reds pitching staff has to probably be a little bit better in terms of holding runners on to negate some of that inability. But I don't know. We haven't really seen Trevino's catch framing this year. It hasn't been as noticeable as I thought it might be.
Yeah,
it'll be interesting to see if that perspective changes over the course of the year. If there's a game where there's an umpire where it's like, oh, wow, I really see it. It just feels like we haven't had that umpire that was bad in the Reds' favor yet this year, that maybe we'll see that.
Yeah, I mean, listen, Singer got if I can remember right, Singer got a pretty big call. It was a punch out on a ball that was a little off the plate. If you want to give credit to, it's just a weird thing to try to rationalize is the framing. You're basically judging the success off the catcher of the inability of the umpire to call balls and strikes accurately. It's just it feels like it's kind of like it's a hard thing to judge. Are you getting lucky because you're getting an umpire back there that's just absolutely clueless, or are you legitimately making umpires call balls strikes and strikes balls and vice versa, depending on how good or bad you are? I don't know. It's a very tough stat or ability to judge. The ABS system will probably make that next to extinct to a small extent. Do you think, I was going to ask you, when ABS comes, how often do you think that these players are actually going to challenge? Because I think that they would be scared to ruin that. Don't you think? Like, because you only get, how many chances do you get? 1 or 2 chances all game?
I think it's 2. I think that the players that have been in the minor leagues, the younger players, are going to have a significant advantage on that when they get to the big leagues. Like they're going to be a little bit more comfortable, a little bit probably even more confident than some of the veterans. Right. Just kind of a unique thing. Back to the catch framing though, real quick. I wonder if in our heads it's so much easier to see the catch framing when it's Wilson Contreras, or when it's a negative against us, than when it's a positive, just because our brains see that, oh, they hurt our team, or we just, it was close. You know what I mean? Like, it feels like it's probably a lot easier for us to see the opposite side than when it's in our favor. But yeah, I think the catch framing, you'll still have some impact with the challenge system, and I'm pretty confident that it will be the challenge system and not full ABS when they go to it. So the catch framing will still matter because, yeah, you're not going to want to burn all of your challenges early. You're not going to want to, especially like if you have, 2 outs and the bases are empty and the pitch is pretty close and there's a 5% chance you're wrong.
Right.
That's where it's tough to risk wasting one.
Yeah. It's going to be a tough spot for some guys because they're going to think that they're definitely right, and all it takes is for them to be wrong one time, and then they're going to get gun shy a little bit, if I had to guess. But we'll get to see that here soon, whether that's next year or the year after. It's going to be very soon. It'll be interesting to see how that affects catcher's value when it comes to some of these statistics. Speaking of value. There's going to be some people that say Brady Singer, he's had Trevino catch him now twice. It's looked very good. How much do you give him credit for that? Or do you just want to say, hey, this dude's throwing in a really big ballpark. He used it to his advantage. He threw strikes. He did not walk guys. And he did a great job of getting deep into the game because this bullpen that we'll get to in just a minute has been spent, Nick. Martinez and Brady Singer have done this team a huge justice and have allowed them to kind of get this bullpen healthy again, to where now you feel pretty good going into tomorrow. But overall, your kind of, I guess, impressions of Singer.
Yeah, going into tomorrow with an off day the next day too. So yeah, you've really kind of, at least, knock on wood, really fixed the problem. Man, if Hunter Green can give you just 6 innings tomorrow, I mean, you really have got things back on track. Singer gave up 13 hard hit balls tonight. I mean, credit to him for not walking anyone. Credit to him because we've seen some of these starts early go off the rails on him, and he was able to keep this one on the tracks. Brady Singer is just a guy that you could say this for every pitcher, but Singer's a more extreme version. You cannot judge this guy on his best starts, like we saw early in the year, and you cannot judge him on his worst starts. You just kind of have to roll with it, and I promise you, I really believe at the end of the year, you're going to look up and go, oh, he had like a 4.1, 4.2 ERA. He took the ball every time, and you know what? Hey, that was a lot better than digging in down to AAA and calling up guys who weren't ready, and it was a big piece. He's almost he throws a lot harder, but he's almost like Bronson Arroyo type, 100%. Really. I mean, that's that same type of guy that, I mean, there was times where I got frustrated with Bronson Arroyo, and I'm like, man, this guy stinks. This guy's garbage. And then at the end of his career, you're like, oh wow, like what a career, like what a presence that he gave us. Singer's that same type of guy. So I just encourage you, the next time he gets lit up, try to give the guy a pass. Next time he has a great start, don't go overboard and do what I do and say, yeah, we won the trade, suckers. Like it's
sure. Yeah. Well, I mean, listen, I think it's safe to say that the Reds found a way to get the most value out of that situation. Singer's been so far everything that we would hoped him to be. He's supposed to be an innings eater, and that's what he's done. I mean, that is what he's done. And if he continues to be able to do that, it allows this team to maybe be in a spot where they've not been in the past, with a bullpen that has not been spent by the end of the season, and they've not dug to the likes of Kennedy, or name another pitcher that probably shouldn't have been starting on your big league club in the middle of June or July. And Singer, if he's capable of staying healthy, will allow, hopefully, the starting pitching staff or the rotation to be in a spot where they don't have to dig too deep into the well and get them in a spot where they're throwing guys that aren't ready to pitch in the big leagues. And that's already happened.
A bullpen game like the Kansas City Royals had to throw tonight because they traded their Brady Singer.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, exactly. And I mean, starting pitching probably, as you've always said, is not as valued as it should be. And everybody in the offseason wants to go get the big splash bat. They want to see guys hit home runs. But the truth is that you need to get outs in this game. And if you can get guys that can eat up innings, they're a little more valuable than you'd like to give credit to. All right, moving forward really quickly too. I mean, this bullpen, I just want to say really quickly, they've struggled. They did. I mean, they struggled. And we kind of should have expected them to struggle at some point. I think why it hurts the most and when they struggled, it's when they struggled. The same way that this offense gets a bad rap by the way in which they just weren't able to score when you felt like you got such good starts and it just made their bad performances feel even worse. You laid an egg against the team that is leading the division, Nick, and a team that many of us fans aren't big fans of. Us Reds fans are not big fans of, obviously, the Chicago Cubs. And you blew 2 games. I had told you, Nick, have you ever felt like a series where, talking about the Cubs series, have you ever felt like a series where you thought to yourself, man, we were so close to sweeping these guys, but then maybe within 10 seconds you think to yourself, damn, we were close to being swept too. And that's just, that is because of the bullpen. It's nice to see the bullpen kind of get back to, I don't know, steadying the ship, I guess is what we'll call it.
Yeah. I don't even think the bullpen necessarily. Santiago hit a batter. Jabot gave up several hard hit balls tonight. Pecan was very shaky yesterday. But, hey, they got it done. And, right. Some of it is the competition. I mean, the Royals are nowhere close to an offense as the Cubs are. And the Reds the Reds got very fortunate this series against the Royals. When they're playing them with their starting pitching beat up, missing their top 2 guys that are in the rotation now, they got fortunate and they took advantage of it. And that's what you want your baseball team to do, is when you have a series that lines up well for you, you go in and you take advantage of it, and they've done it. And my God, it'd be great if Hunter Green gets us out of here with a sweep.
It'd be huge. We've said it before, and I'll say it again. If this baseball team can go the rest of the year without getting swept at all and accidentally sweep a couple teams, you're going to be shocked by what this record's going to look like, because you don't feel like this team's as good as maybe the record will be. So goofy, kind of a goofy way to look at the season, but tomorrow is another huge opportunity. A huge opportunity. You kind of in a way right the wrong of the Cubs series if you're able to win tomorrow. So, anything else you want to add before we jump into a little who, what, when, where, and why? And obviously, that's probably going to be the down on the farm.
Yeah, you're right the wrong in terms of the wild card race. Probably not in terms of the NL Central, though.
Correct. You're not going to be able to right the wrong that you gave the Cubs an extra win, but give the Cubs some time, man. Let's not act like let's not act like the Cubs are flawless.
Well, the only thing with the Cubs is they have a lot of resources that they can drastically improve their flaws at the deadline.
Yeah, they can.
That's probably my biggest concern with them, because I do think their starting pitching is going to catch up with them at some point. And I mean, you saw that this weekend. But they also can go out and really fix that at the trade deadline too.
We're gonna need some of those Cubs players to maybe come back down to earth at some point too. And maybe they won't. And if they don't, then I'll just say they're one of the best teams in baseball, and we're gonna have to live with the fact that we're not better than them, which we're probably not. Can
they get a Giolito at the deadline?
Yeah, Giolito. I remember that. Oh, Giolito. Everybody wanted Giolito. He was terrible.
Placed on waivers 2 weeks later.
Yeah. Shout out to the Angels for making the most bizarre trade deadline moves of all time. Remember, we swept them. Remember that? We swept them. This was like a week after they got all those guys.
I didn't forget.
Anyway. All right, we got guys that play in the minor leagues. Nick's covers them, and he covers them in great detail on the podcast that you could download in the morning. But in the meantime, he does kind of give you a little snippet here as we head into the night of Chatterbox Reds. Nick, take it away.
Well, we got a lot of snippets thanks to Craig Sandlin behind the scenes, working hard, grinding tonight, getting some graphics for you. Louisville, they lost 10-5 to Toledo. Bats now 24-27 on the season. Jake Fraley on base twice, 1 for 4 with a walk and a stolen base. CES 1 for 3 with a triple. That triple hit 112 off the bat. CES so far 2 for 6 at AAA. Reese Hines 0 for 4. Blake Dunn 0 for 4, now hitting a $167 with an OPS below 500 at AAA. Chase Petty, really tough start for him. Only threw 33 of his 61 pitches for strikes, walked 4, only lasted 2 in the third innings, giving up 2 runs. Chattanooga, they were postponed. They will play a doubleheader on Wednesday starting at 5:15 p.m. Lookouts 22-22 on the season. Dayton, they fell 12-7 to West Michigan. Nestor Lawrence struggles getting bumped up to high A, continues 6 hits, 4 runs, and 4 innings of work. Carlos Jorge, though, had a big night, 2 for 4 with a homer, his third of the year, double, and a stolen base. Tell you what, I'm not sure how good Carlos Jorge is, but when that guy connects on a home run, it is a beautiful sight. Go find the Dayton Dragons Twitter or Facebook feed and find the video of that, man. He hits he pimps home runs like no one else. Leo Balcazar 3 for 5, hit his 4th home run of the year. Yerlin Confidant walked twice. Daytona, they lost 3-1 to Jupiter. Tortugas, they're struggling, lost 8 of 12, now 20-26 on the season. Alfredo Duno had gotten hit by a pitch, had missed the last 2 games, but came in the 9th and pinch hit, smoked a single at 104 off the bat. Sammy Stafora 0 for 3. Carlos Sanchez 0 for 2. Pair of walks, a stolen base. And how about Kyle Henley? He stole 3 bases. He's now 25 for 25 in stolen base attempts this season. And currently in action, our ACL, the Arizona Complex League's Reds trail the ACL Brewers 13-5, but have no fear because we have a lot of good stuff going on there. First off, Tyson Lewis has a hit. Shang-Yin Lin has 2 hits, including an RBI single. Cam Collier on base twice, 1 for 2 with a double and a walk. Arnaldo Lantigua, he is tearing the cover off the ball, 1 for 2 with a double as well. So that is your Reds MILB.
All right. We also obviously have some games in action currently that will probably be final for sure by the time the podcast comes around. And the Cubs Rockies
tied it. I was so hoping. I wanted them to lose to the Rockies so bad on the air.
Rockies.
Oh, I needed it.
Rockies 9-45 are currently tied 3-3 against the Chicago Cubs. Would have been cool. Would have been cool if the Rockies could have held on to their 3-2 lead, but unfortunately, Pete Crow Armstrong would come around to score. But still in the bottom of the 11th, we'll hope that the Rockies can find a way to rally in the north side of Chicago. Who knows? Would have been fun. Would have been cool. Would you have said that if they would have swept tomorrow and the Rockies found a way to win this game that we kind of got it back? Will you give that to me?
Yeah, I would give you that.
All right. We the Reds do play tomorrow. They got a big opportunity. I kind of want to have a quick little discussion after we do the who, what, when, where, and why, because I want to ask you a question about something I think that you might provide some decent insight on. A little who, what, when, where, and why. Nick, tell us about it.
Yeah, no one you want better on the mound than Hunter Green going for a sweep. Hunter Green's first start back against the Cubs. Pretty strong outing. 4 innings, 3 hits, 2 runs, 2 walks, 2 strikeouts. Green has never faced the Royals, and Mark Canha's the only Royal that's faced Green. I don't think we've seen him in the series. He is 1-for-5. Royals have the lefty Noah Cameron. He is their number 5 ranked prospect. He's only made 3 career big league starts, and they have been very good. He's got a 0.93 ERA. In his MLB debut back on April 30th, actually took a no-hitter into the 7th inning. The Baseball America scouting report, Cameron is a finesse lefty with a sneaky four-seam fastball averaging 92 miles per hour, gets swing and misses from both his changeup and curve, and he's a savvy hurler who mixes his pitch as well. Batters 0 for 12 against his slider, 1 for 16 against his changeup. So you know what? All that means is this guy's due to get hit hard tomorrow.
Yeah. It's sounds like you're talking about Andrew Abbott in a little bit of a way. I'll be the judge of that. Is this Andrew Abbott without the gut? Is that what this guy is?
No, you didn't.
What? Just being honest. Well, I'll be the judge of that tomorrow. We'll see what this guy looks like. I'm not going to give him all the credit in the world. Sub 1 ERA sounds like it's supposed to go up. That's all I know.
Garrett Hamster's about to just crush this kid's dreams.
Yeah, that hamster wheel. That we're gonna be turning and burning tomorrow. All right, folks. The question I have for Nick is basically Hunter Green kind of got shut down a little bit early, maybe premature, just because of caution his last time out. My question to you is if he's starting to kind of go later into the game and he gets his pitch count up to the 75, 85 pitch mark, I don't know what the exact number will be, but you kind of get my drift here. You're heading to that third and a half, fourth time through the lineup. Let's say he's throwing the ball well. How long do you run with it, especially when you consider the fact there's an off day the next day and the bullpen can be expensed?
I mean, I just think there's a lot of factors that go into that with Green. Green threw 83 pitches against the Cubs. I mean, it was the Cubs are a good offense, so I don't really care about what your pitch count is in a start like that, his first start back. So I don't really think going into the start he's limited that much. I mean, maybe they're not going to let him go 114 like he did against the Nationals, but I would be shocked if he's pitching well if they don't let him get up to 100 or at least very close to it. So I don't have a lot of concern, but I'll pretty much, Hunter Green's probably the one pitcher that if he's pitching well, he's the one that I'm willing to push a little bit more as long as they feel comfortable. But there's so much more that goes into evaluating a pitcher in terms of, are you risking his health? Because they have so many other metrics and things that they're looking for and signs that we don't really know about the science behind that. So I hope and I trust that the Reds are taking advantage of all of those things. But I don't really think he's going to be limited tomorrow. I think if he pitches well, he'll go deep. If he's not, I go all out tomorrow with the day off. Even though the bullpen's been spent, you push Martinez, you push Singer to give yourself a chance. So if Green's kind of, a little shaky his second start back and you kind of get 5 innings and you're like, I don't really know how good I feel, I'm going right to the bullpen. That's where Francona, I think, is at his best, is filling these kind of situations out. I'll give him that. I think he's been really good in those spots.
All right, well, we'll find out tomorrow what's in store, and unfortunately, the umpire decided not to give Kenley a call on the outside corner, which would have been strike 3, and instead, he allowed what is basically going to be a walk-off for the Chicago Cubs. So, unfortunately, couldn't end the night on some fun, but when those are complaining and saying the ABS system isn't good, I'm going to point back to that pitch right there that would have been strike 3. Would have given the Rockies 2 outs in the inning. Instead, Matt Shaw decides to hit a single after he should have already been out. So,
go Marlins. That's what I'm on to. I'm on to the Marlins.
Nick's on to the Marlins. And you guys, we're on to tomorrow. But I didn't forget. It's time to try to be an athlete. And I'm going to do my best to be one. So here we go. You got something?
No,
Super
we're 3.5
chats.
back no matter. We're 3.5 back no matter what because the Giants lost. So
yeah, and I got one more super chat. One more super chat. Luke D says probably doesn't help that all of our catchers sit on their butts behind the plate. He's obviously talking about our defense. Yeah, I definitely think that there's more stability and you have the ability to frame and do some things like that. But it is unique that is not something that has ever been taught until the last few years, probably 4 or 5 years. I don't know. It is interesting though, Luke. I'm not going to argue. I've never been a catcher. I'm not a catching coach. I don't really know that whole thing that well to be trying to make.
It's some longevity thing, right?
Yeah, definitely. Your knees, you're definitely your knees are going to take a beating if you just stay in the crouch position. But one would argue, Nick, if there's a guy on first base, you could change your setup.
Yeah.
Versus if there's nobody on, you could do what you want. But that's here nor there. All right, you know what time it is, folks. We will see you better than ever tomorrow. If you haven't already, hit the like button. Please hit the like button. Please hit the like button. We're like in like the bottom 5% of YouTube channels on likes on shows. That's on ours. That's an us problem. So, just reminder, please like the stream if you haven't already. Subscribe. But it's that time. So let's go do it.